On the other hand, in the grain sector, we have the struggles that continue for the wheat market. Extension Ag economist Brian Williams has been monitoring this market. He answers some questions about it for Farm Week.
Well, Brian, what did the May USDA reports have to say about wheat?
Well, it kind of gave us a first look at the 2015-2016 crop year. The yields were expected to be slightly lower than a year ago at 43.5 bushels per acre. Production slightly higher than last year, but that's mainly because of a 1.6 million acre increase in harvested acres. The food, feed, and residual use, as well as exports, were all up over year, so that's kind of a good sign for our demand. And then the bottom line, export or ending stocks were about 84 million bushels higher than a year ago.
Well, last week we seemed to see what some are calling some real energy under the wheat market.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? What sparked that?
Yeah. Well, for a couple days after this report come out, prices stayed fairly steady, but then they really saw a 30-cent spike in one day. And a lot of that was because of weather rather than the report itself.
Now, that brings me to my next question, crop condition, because the wide variety, when we talk about whether there's been drought impacting wheat, there's been, of course, too much rain in some places, and then the normal situation we have in the spring. How is all that going to play with this market?
Well, the big thing right now that's playing into this is the rain, the heavy rain. The vast majority of all of our wheat acres in the U.S. have seen some rain, and with that heavy rain it can knock the wheat down, and that's where the fear is that some of the wheat's being damaged by this rain.
So trend-wise, what might we see with the kind of weather we've had and how this market is shaping up?
Well, looking at the forecast for the next week, it looks like we're going to see that rain continue. So that could keep our prices coming up, or at least staying where they are. But then after that, as we get closer and closer to harvest, I think we might see them come back down a little bit again. And
final question, the export market, how is that picture looking?
It's struggling. The exports are struggling right now. In the USDA report, they were revised down, and then we got news last week that Russia was actually going to remove an export tax, and so that puts their wheat on the market, and that's probably going to hurt our exports a little bit more, even more so.